There we go. Another Wednesday night brought to you by Value Pack Dog Food, Cold Strike Gear, and Benny Griffin. Benny Griffin. Wait, what's your food place? I'm gonna have to start doing that.
Oh yeah, you need to get on Facebook and put the picture up there. Our logo, Bar Ditch Bistro.
Bar Ditch Bistro.
Yeah.
I could switch around some letters, but this is a family show. Is what this
That's
is.
it. That's it.
How's everybody doing?
Bar Ditch Bistro.
I don't
I'm
put
doing
enough
good.
emphasis on our sponsors, so I'm trying to be better at it.
Hey, where's your Cold Strike sponsor? Is he still catching?
He's cold striking. I
He's,
talked to Jared today, and they caught a bear yesterday, or he caught a lion yesterday, and they got a client last day today. So
hey, I see Robert Chase is here again, and I just need to shout out to Robert since he's hung up on those Carlsbad those Colorado make believe chilies. It's all froze out, and I'm going to run make chili run this weekend. So Robert, if you'll run down here, I'll load you up at my expense and put you some fire in your step.
then he'll be trying to move to New Mexico. There ain't no green chilies up on Leadsville, 10,000 feet.
No, he goes down there to the border and gets them from Pueblo.
He's getting it from New Mexico. He's sneaking them over the
I was
border.
I was at one of those. I don't remember which town. There's a college town over there on this border that I went in there and I ordered some kind of breakfast with some red chili. I thought they must feed this to the people because they don't have any hog farms around here because they wouldn't eat it either. It wasn't even. It was more like ketchup that was watered down and runny. Like if you we got a cheese plant over here that's the world's largest mozzarella cheese plant, and they irrigate the farms with the whey, the watered down leftovers, and I think that's what they were feeding us on that red chili plate in Colorado. I know
Leftover.
Robert didn't have anything to do with that. That's not hating on Robert. We'll just give him an opportunity to come over here and get some good chilies this week.
It's about like buying barbecue in the Carolinas. It comes out just pure water with a little hint of barbecue at the end of it.
Yep. Yep. What was I doing? I forgot what I was doing. Oh well.
You were bitching that you haven't given enough airtime to the
Oh
sponsors.
yeah.
And then we
Value
chased
pack.
the rabbit all over the field.
That's about it. Squirrel. Yeah, I mean, he needs to get back on. And let's just get this out of the way. I don't ever mention this. And I think we have, let me look real quick how many spots we have filled up. Where's my folder? Raffles. It's taking forever to open. Come on, Excel. Here it comes. Loading. Only have like 11 spots filled. I think so. We still have like 30 more spots to go. Maybe everybody's broke.
It's because we said Robert's not allowed to get in it this time. He usually
We hadn't even put in yet either. You freeze up on us? Did Derek freeze up on us?
Either that or he's catching that frog in his throat.
I think he froze up on us. Anyways, you only got like 11 or 12 people in. I haven't put in yet. I need to put in. So I'd like to get me one of them XLs. So I think
Would
he
it work
froze up.
on my wife's car? Could I put it on her car and keep track of where she's at in case I lose
Oh
her?
yeah, yeah. Just buy her one of them pretty necklaces, a pink one, wear it around her neck, or cut it small for her ankle, like an ankle
That's what
bracelet.
Derek's froze like he's looking at fitting one
I
around
know.
his.
Yeah, I think he either his phone died or he'll be back.
One of his dogs chewed his wires in half.
Probably. This ain't funny, but it's kind of funny.
Yeah, let's not. All right, that's enough laughter. Sorry
I don't.
about
It's kind of funny. I
I'm
want
feeling you.
to bring Robert on. Oh wait, there's Derek. It looked like he's froze up again. Oh no, there he is.
Yeah,
Good.
no. Yeah, where my power flickered right before we went live, my Wi-Fi turned back on and it was
Oh.
fighting with my cell signal.
Usually when my power flickers or turned off, I'm like, shit, did I pay the bill? Every time I'm bad at paying bills. And I don't do.
Well,
I
we
don't.
prepay it. That's what we do. We'll prepay it and then forget it'll run out. Like, oh shit,
Well,
that's the wrong one.
So when I'm making money, I just like pay if it's usually my electric bill is $300-400. Right now it'll be $300-400, and it'll go in from 200 to like this outrageous amount now because APS likes to just binge you over. But so I'll pay 500 at a time when I'm making money, and then I forget.
Hey, all of those retarded power companies over there that killed that coal-fired plant, and like I told you before, Tucson Electric Power gets a bunch of their power from right here east of me. Off of these wind generators. They had to build all brand new infrastructure. They had to do all of that shit. And we're going to bring you clean energy. And I never did plug anything into the wall and my prongs come out filthy. So I don't know what they was talking about. Idiots.
Yeah,
Yep.
The energy's no cleaner. We got all them windmills around here now too, and they're putting in more. Matter of fact, my in-laws are right in the middle of it.
And now them things, as far as I understand, will never offset the carbon footprint that it takes to build them and install them in their lifespan.
They won't even pay for themselves, Derek.
No, that's what
They
I
will
mean.
not
They burn more fossil fuels and to build it and install it and truck it than it'll ever offset.
No, but even
ridiculous.
that, what I'm saying is the cost of them. If they didn't have, they don't have a government subsidy anymore. Trump killed that deal the other day, but it doesn't matter because they would not pay for themselves. And when they're spent, they're spent. And then what are they going to do? They're not chopping them up and putting them in the highway like they do with tires.
They'll stand there till they fall over.
They need to put them in Santa Fe, New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hey, Evan, you got any place over there that we could start sending any of these rogue truck drivers hauling those spare parts? And he's over there by Albuquerque, I think.
There's
so we could. Our little governor loves them because she gets all that federal money and she pockets it. So she needs to put them over there in her neighborhood.
This is what I don't get. Is she a Native American?
No, she's a retard.
Oh, I'm gonna keep away from that one. But so I don't know why the reservations don't. Why don't they put them on their land and make some money off them? Like the Navajo have a huge chunk of land. They shut down the coal. Why don't they do something? Put a factory over there. It's a sovereign nation, so you can kind of get away with whatever you want. Why didn't they take that coal plant out of Joe City, Arizona, and put it on the reservation? And the reservation
I was talking to.
They had the biggest one. They had the biggest, cleanest one in the nation on the reservation.
Yep.
On my way up to the elk hunt the other week, I picked the guy up. He had broke down and was hoofing it, and I give him a ride to his house on the res there. And he was talking about how, if our politics are corrupt, theirs are the same, And he said there's a big movement in the younger people to be either absorbed by the states they're in or to be their own state. And I think it'd be the best thing for them because I don't want to see them just disappear into the populace and get grayed out like the rest of us. I want to see the culture survive.
Oh, damn it. I knew he'd come on. I knew it. I knew if I sent it the link, he couldn't help it.
Hey, how's it going, Cody?
I heard Benny say retard, and it just
struck a nerve.
I just got you say retard 3 times fast, and I appear in front of you like Candyman.
Cody had to come on and protect himself.
Me and Cody are already talking off of camera about retarded stuff.
Yeah.
I sent him work, and he calls me, says, "This is retarded." I said, "I know. Just tell me what I got to do." Yep,
What are
it's
y'all up
everywhere.
to today? It's a good. Where's that Louisiana guy? It's a good thing
He's
he's not here. I was gonna whoop his ass if he was here.
he's
He's so
butchering a
big. I
hog.
can only say that when he's not here.
He's butchering a hog. I sent him a link, and he said, "I'm butchering a hog." I said, "Well, jump on and tell a story." He said, "Oh, it's the only night I have to grind."
Oh,
So
That's
Cody, aren't you taller than him?
I don't know. I may be as tall as him, but I'm
he
not as
outweighs you.
full as him.
He outweighs
Yeah.
you.
Straight Cody's wide.
I'm not
Mhm.
as full as him.
If I was gonna whoop his ass, I'd have to pack a lunch or two. That's for sure. He's
Yep.
pretty big. How big old boy are you? Kind of deal,
Yep.
But what are y'all up to
Oh,
today?
man.
Oh, we got off on a clean
Tangent.
energy tangent. I don't even know where that. We started about green chilies, and then we went into.
You started talking about electric bills, and then I got off on my tangent because
Mm-hmm.
right out here east of my house, all these ugly damn wind generators are going. They are owned by Texas Electric, TEP, whatever that is.
Yeah, Tucson
It's not
Electric
electric
Power.
power.
Tucson Electric Power.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you know how I should have. I named it free casting because we just kind of send out, but should have put free casting for rabbit holes is what it should be called.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, we could. Well, we got some beagle hunters on here. They understand. I
Butcher
bet.
time.
I'll bet if Missy had us in her pack of rabbit dogs, she would cull us.
Cola, Cola should keep us live to just kick us every once in a while when she walks by.
Keep us on a short leash.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, the subject it was subjects pets versus
Subject
working
change.
dogs. Pets work versus working dogs.
Ruben used to always tell me, I'd have a young dog or something I'd start and then I'd be petting on him. And he'd always say, "That's a tool, not a pet, son." And
Which
old timer.
which is kind of true, but it's kind of hard. Like when I'm here in South Arizona, I brought 10 dogs down. Well, I don't count Stinker. Stinker's my pet working dog because
Pet tool.
she sleeps. I have a little where the refrigerator was in my trailer. It has that big vent door, and she knows how to get in and out. So she comes and goes as she pleases. But man, I get her out, and she still hunts. You know. So I don't. I think, and then the more I put, like they're right here, and I have them all the way around my trailer. I have 10 barrels around my trailer, and when I feed them, they become more responsive to me when I'm here because I walk past them every time I come to my trailer and I pet them. I always pet some of them as I walk by, and when I feed, I sit on their barrels and pet them, and I feel like they become more responsive to me than when I'm at home and they're in the back, hidden in the cedars, so my neighbors don't call on me, and the sheriff posse can't see my dogs or anything in my yard. And then my kids feed them. So they're not kids just like to dump food and run. Even though I tell them you guys got to pet those dogs.
They don't, and I think deep down inside, a lot of them old timers, that was as much self defense as it was worrying about their dog being a tool. As everyone knows, it gets harder and harder as you get older to watch an old dog that you've spent so many hours with for the last decade die. And I think some of them old timers would say, "Oh, you don't want to be attached to them dogs. They're tools, not pets." But I think a lot of that was them maybe just kind of keeping them at bay and trying to protect their own feelings in a way.
Yeah, I get
Yeah,
that.
because Dale Lee used to sit out. I hunted a lot with Jim Brooks for a while, and Jim hunted with Dale Lee professionally for some time, And Dale would sit out, according to Jim, Dale would sit out there on his dog houses with his dogs and
Yeah.
just talk to his dogs and look at his dogs. And I started doing that. I got a little bit older in my hound deal, and I thought, I don't spend enough time with my dogs, and when we go out, all there is a bunch of yelling and screaming and cussing. Maybe I should get those dogs to comprehend a little bit more of what I'm thinking before I'm out there been out of shape. And it did work. I used to spend a lot of time out there in the kennels.
Yeah.
I think they work better with you when they like you. I mean, a dog can like you or not like you. You know, a hound will probably work for you whether he likes you or not. But I think if that bond is better, then you just got to end up with a better handle on them. They work harder for you. I've always been one of those just to spend time with them and like them. Of course, when one goes, it sucks for us that way, of course, but I don't know. It's kind of like back when we had Alex on, he was talking about spend so much time with these dogs, and that's how you get to know them. You get to read your dogs better, and right when something's the matter, or right when they're getting gamey or what have you.
I turned my light off real quick. I'm gonna show you this. My cousin lives in California, and he just now sent it to me and my son. If you can see it, in his yard.
Oh man,
that's a big old fat one right there.
Oh my gosh.
That's a great big old raccoon getting in his trash can. You tell him,
oh yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah. Be here in the morning.
Trevin says he pets his. Well, Trevin, when I was hunting and we didn't have anything going on, and I'd stop to get a gate or something, when I'd get down, I'd call them dogs over there and I'd pet them all and let them hang out just a little while. And I'd
Trevin who?
Trevin
Hall.
There.
Yeah. So I did that too a lot, and then I'd tell them, "All right, let's get back to work." I'd jump back in the saddle and go.
Here's something kind of crazy too: is my dogs gain more weight down here, and I know it's a little colder, but it's not that much colder up there right now. But I don't know what it is. They just gain more weight faster down here, and I feed them the same as here as up there. So I don't know if that's like the mental part of it. When your woman's happy, she gains weight. Happy wife.
It could very well be, It could be like just you being around them more, they're more comfortable. Whereas if you don't mess with them for 2 days or something, the kids do it, they might be stressing out in there, burning more calories.
Yeah, well, I'm not there all week. And then on the weekends, I barely get out there unless I go out. But when they're here, like I said, so I got one of Brett Vaughn's dogs, and it's just real skittish. And he's real weird with me, like runs away like I beat him. And I've never even touched that dog. So instead of getting rid of that dog, well, it's my son-in-law. I said, "Here, you want that dog?" But I brought him down, and he made the trip down here, so that's a plus. And so he's right by my door. So I have to kind of drag him to me. When I pull on the chain, he comes to me. He's just real skittish. So I'm trying to see if I can break him of that. Kind of a experiment, I guess, and see if I can get him to trust me, because I got 2 Ben Lilly dogs from a guy out of Winslow, and those dogs try to bite you, pull them out of the box, and they started trusting me a little bit, but they were just too skittish. And I think if you let them go too long, if you don't, I'm lucky because I have little girls, and ever since they were old to walk, I'd pull that whelping box top off, and they would jump in, and then I'd have to check them for ticks and all that good stuff. And surprised they didn't. If we got parvo, my kids would have parvo all the time, but they would play in there in that whelping box with those puppies. I mean, when they're 2-3 weeks old, and I think, what is that called? Oh, Becky Dwyer, the neurological. The big word. You know what it is.
Yeah, it's like
Derek always remembers that shit. I call it imprinting. It's just imprinting. It's just like anything else.
Yeah, it's just like an operant conditioning thing. It's you're essentially imprinting on their brain all those little touches and feels, anything you might have to do their whole life.
I agree with Anderson. Same as people, they'll work harder if they feel appreciated. And I think Just like a dog, if you walked in and kicked the shit out of a dog at a tree, you know what I mean? It's not going to work out. What do you do when you walk in? Oh, look, our buddy's here. I acknowledged him, so he's happy now. So if when you walk in, what do? You pet him and you say, "Good boy."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, yep.
Yeah, you get that shy dog down there and knock something out to him, get him petted up on some catches. He'll come around, I bet.
Yeah. Well, I've had him out, and he runs around with the dog. He comes back, he loads. He's just real skittish.
Yeah,
real skittish.
I used to run coyotes, and a lot of them eastern running dogs are like that, real spooky, and it's like you'd think they got beat the hell out of, and they're just a lot of them that way. And once you handle them, which you're fairly.
Hey, Derek, dumb it down a little bit for me. Is here. He wants you to use simple words for him.
Once you catch a couple with them, and they tend to come around, and doing that petting on them and stuff. I think that works out good.
Yep.
Had a phone call there.
That's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Nobody calls Cody King
That was Slade, Benny.
Hey, how come Slade's not on here tonight? He was here last week.
Shit, he been working.
A 4-letter word.
He's in charge. He's like me. He's in charge, so now he's got to go.
And he's about like you. He's in charge and then invent shit to do, like food trucks and stuff like that.
Can't just retire in peace.
Yeah.
That's what my brother told me. I don't know how to stay retired.
Yep.
One of the best dogs that I've ever owned in my life was a pet. And she slept with me. Her name was Sue. She was half Catahoula and half blackmouth cur. And I hunted hogs with her when my dad still hunted hogs, and I hunted cats with her. And she was just one of them dogs. She had it upstairs. I go hog hunting with my dad and his cur dogs, and she'd start hogs, and I'd go cat hunting with my dogs, and she'd start cats, and she wouldn't trash on hogs when I was cat hunting, and wouldn't trash on cats when we were hog hunting, and that bitch would open the door to go outside and go to the bathroom. I just never could teach her to close it. Tree climbing bitch, but she was as big a pet as pet could be, and that was the best dog I ever owned. So people that say pets can't be working dogs, that's not true. That's definitely not true. It's maybe not the norm, but it's not true.
Hell, all mine live in my house. And then like Scandinavia, everybody's hunting dogs live in their house. Nobody they ain't even allowed to tether them up there. It don't hurt nothing. I think, like I say, I think they handle better and hunt better if they like you.
Yeah, dogs have to like you. That's a thing. The first person that ever told me that, I kind of laughed under my breath. Like he was talking about somebody else, and he said, "Man, that guy's dogs don't like him." And I kind of thought, that's kind of a weird thing to say. And but the more I hung around, it was true. It was 100% true. But I just wanted to get on here and say hello. I saw Robert's in here somewhere tonight, huh? Ask him how cold it is in Colorado tonight. It's going to be 47 here in the morning. God dang, it's wintertime, boy.
Yeah, it was
cold.
It was when I left last week. It was 46. It was like 2-3 in the morning when I left up there, North Arizona. Came down, and it's been about 60s down here.
I promise you, that first night when I was up there, it was 34 degrees.
That's because you forgot.
I burned down over a half tank of fuel trying to keep from freezing to them death.
Hey, Casey Fair ain't in here tonight, is he?
I haven't seen him yet.
Hasn't said anything. 21 degrees up there with Robert.
God dang.
God,
They got snow yet?
It's
I
too
think you
cold.
did get snow.
When's their season? Is it open already, or does it not open until November? Or?
I don't know.
Robert,
I can't remember when Colorado opens up. I know they got just a window in there, a couple months.
they got a window in there a couple months where they don't have no snow.
Well, but they can
Casey's-
only hunt for just a little bit, I think.
Casey's supposed to come down in February with his wife and some friends, and we're going to take them to Slade's ranch, Benny. And Slade's got some friends that are bringing hog dogs over, so
Oh, that'll
they can catch some
be different.
hogs.
So, and nobody's allowed to have a pistol. They all got to carry a knife.
Yeah. In
For
November.
hog hunting, where's that at?
Down
It's
here
gonna
where I
be down-
live,
Down in
South
South
Texas.
Texas.
So
But
can you
you
not
know
carry a firearm, or is that just
No,
No,
it's just it's a
Benny's
manly
just
thing.
talking. Yeah.
It's a
Oh.
manly thing. Those hardcore hog hunters, they get them by their back legs
Yeah.
and pick them up, and they throw them, and then they kneel down on them and they stab them through the heart. No guns
Casey's
allowed.
wife said she's always wanted to go hog hunting, so we're gonna
I could see Diana pulling that.
Oh yeah.
we're gonna set it up for her.
I figured
But
Benny'd be down
I
getting
need to
hogs
know
from
when they're
Benny's
coming. I
food.
need to call him. They I'm maybe supposed to go try to collar a jaguar on the 16th of February, but that's barring a permit getting approved by then, and I don't know that it will. But it um,
I need to run out to my trailer and get my appointment calendar book and see what I got going.
Yeah, I gotta smuggle myself into Cody King's suitcase on the 16th of February.
You'd be surprised how little Cody King travels with.
Yeah, he
Is
showed
it?
up. I picked him up at the airport, and he had a backpack for all weekend.
Well, I'll just crawl up underneath the seat of his truck. I know he don't look under there for things.
Hey, have y'all where have y'all is I am here this week?
Me is
Yeah.
here. No, he's here.
I am here
He
is
called
here.
you. He called you the queen. And then here you go. Here's your comment. Got to give him a little attention. You know how them people are like him.
Yeah. There.
Yeah.
Oh my,
you
the queen is here. Cody Queen, god dang.
Yep. He's a smart one.
You know,
And then and
You
then he
ain't done a VPN taste on you ain't simple words for you ain't,
yeah. So
you ain't done it.
we have to dumb it down for him. He asked us to.
Yeah.
you know when a toddler has a temper tantrum and they just want to run around stirring the pot, that's how
Mhm.
they get over in Washington State.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's exactly right. They but well guys, I gotta hit the sack, man. I just wanted to get on. You sent me that link and I said, well, I'll get on there and say hello. So
Hey, next time I won't say retard so loud so you don't have
Yeah.
to come on. And
Can't
yeah,
say
I was Benny, god dang. I was busy. Don't be summoning me like that.
Yeah, you can't. It's like Beetlejuice. You can't say it 3 times or he comes.
Yeah, I was in
he
the
comes
middle of
in.
doing something and then just boom, I'm sitting here in front of a live on YouTube.
And it's funny is when he said that, Me Is Here jumped on as well.
There you go.
Yeah,
Cody,
there
you have
you
a good
are.
evening.
Run a VPN check. I want to know who I am here is here. I want to know who that is.
Oh, I'm sure we know who it is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know who
Like-
it is.
Look like it's pinging out of Spokompton, Washington, I think.
Yeah, somewhere over there.
Well, all right,
Alrighty,
guys.
guys.
We'll see y'all later.
All right.
But
Have a good evening.
So, anyways, that's the fastest Cody's been on and been off and didn't talk shit. Well, a little
Well,
bit.
Now we know pets can be hunting dogs, so everybody put a garment collar on your poodle.
Yep.
Trevin Hall says all he needs is some dried sausage. We lived on it for 2 days. Well, Trevin, I've got 4 bags of that stuff in my freezer that he sent with me. So I've got enough to last me the whole year of travels.
Yep. That's all I got under. If you look under my seat, I usually have a case of oysters. I have to hide it under my seat so my kids don't eat them all. So that's what I survive on. Canned oysters. Maybe some Vienna sausages. Staple food. It used to be the oyster, smoked oyster, or the smoked baby clams, but you can't find them no more.
No, they don't want the baby clams to be harvested before they're adults.
Is it going to be cool enough for you to get after them down there this weekend, Chris?
What's that?
Is it going to be cool enough for you to get after it down there? Are you going to do any bear hunting, or are you switching?
No, I'm down South Arizona. I won't bear hunt the rest of the year.
Oh, no?
I got to get my mules down here, though. So, not this weekend. They're coming down this weekend to steal candy from the big city.
Ah.
And then next weekend I'll go up and I'll probably bring my mules down there because I brought my little 1980 Toyota down. So, those standard poodles, my friend has some standard. I just don't want to pay $1,800. So if she had a spare one, I would love to dump them with my hounds and just see what they do.
Oh, yeah, no, them like old school poodles are legit, man. Yeah.
But what I want to do is when it gets old and I can groom it up, and then I want to paint some jaguar spots all over it. And I want my dogs to chase it. I'm going to go down South Arizona and I'll take a picture of the dogs chasing it.
Do it up in the pines. That way they think the jaguar sighting and friggin' Jolo.
Well, they had two of them over down on the reservation back in the day. I think it was at the 50s, I believe. And they found out they were transported in. Somebody brought them in, but it's kind of cool. I think there's a picture at the Sholo Museum of one. I think. So, what do you think about Catahoula's as lion dogs? I run Catahoula's. Yeah, I bred them for a desert dog, mainly.
A lot of guys
but the rancher over in Tonto Basin that I used to hunt on his property, he would breed them Catahoula's with the Catahoula's, blackmouth curves, with his Labradors. But his Labradors, it's crazy, is when I would go camp there and I would take off with my little 80 Toyota, those dogs would follow me. I mean, if I went 20 miles, them dogs followed me. And the next day, you know what they did? Same thing. 3, 4, 5 days in a row. Them dogs' feet were concrete, man. So when you say, I think it's like a coyote. Coyote don't stop walking because his feet sore. They just walk, right? I think if you ran your dog constantly every day like that, if you were just out on your horse running, those dogs would just their feet would toughen up, And I think they say to keep them soft, right? So they don't crack. But man, how do those coyotes keep their feet so not ripping up?
Well, the ones with bad feet don't catch food, they die, and they don't make babies. And you do that for 5,000 years, and you don't have coyotes with bad feet no more. That's what I think.
I never bred Yucky because he had a tad bit of aggression, nothing on that, and he was a red dog. But God dang it, his feet and his legs, he was phenomenal. I could run that dog 3 days in a row, 12 miles out in the hills, and he would be ready the 4th day. And that dog never limped. So, and he just had tough feet. And I actually put him in with Cruella, the Catahoula, because he was houndy. He wasn't really slow. He was pretty fast, but Cruella was real fast. And I was trying to kind of even it out. Mm-hmm. Cruella's my Catahoula. So, and she's been on a bunch of bears and lions. So,
I think all them cur dogs catch a lion. I mean, well, it's like we had them boys that watch us that come from Oklahoma. They brought an English dog they hunt coons with, I think, and then they brought a couple of cur dogs they hunt pigs with. And I dropped them a pin, and they walked in there and got her caught, man. And that in dang August. Like, I think a lot more dogs could do it if you put them to the task. Maybe not the first time like that, but you put them in the position to learn how to trail something in the dirt. And I think a lot of dogs could do it. I don't think there's any secret breed or anything like that. Like a cat, a cat's not gonna run your dog's guts out or turn around and kill them and that kind of thing. Like that sort of stuff ain't gonna happen too much. Generally, you get a cat up, it's just gonna be bait or caught or pulled. Maybe it'll jump a tree and go up a bluff and clip them out. But as far as finding it, treeing it, or chasing it, treeing it, whatever, I think about any hunting dog would probably do it. I mean,
yeah,
I would imagine.
He said that goes back when horses, but I've seen horses right here south of me that had some curl hoofs out running wild, and I don't know if it's just, real bad. So I don't know why.
A lot of them are feral, though, huh? Like we don't have any nothing.
No, they're reservation horses. They've been out there.
Yeah. But they ain't been out there like the ones running around Nevada. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, they've been out there for 30, 40 years that I know of since I've lived here.
There have been horses out there, but you see stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. You see thoroughbred looking horses and quarter horse looking horses and res pony looking horses and draft horses and everything else running out. It's just shit.
I tell you what, you can tell a res horse because most of them have that big old head and a little tiny body.
Yeah.
Me, I always wanted to let go of paint out there or something, or nice tall thoroughbred.
Well, I tell you what, I considered risking it for the biscuit one day. I was out there in 3C, and there was this 17-2 black, like thoroughbred looking unit out there. Looked like just built like a brick shit house, and I was just like, and he walks right up to the truck, and I'm like, I bet I get somebody to trailer down here in a minute. I thought about it for a second.
My cousin has caught a few of those, but getting them in a trailer is real tough. You can get a rope on them, but getting a trailer in there. Yeah. Well, or someone just let them go.
Yeah.
So a lot of times them natives, they rope. So they'll get some horses and then they'll get out of the pen and then they're gone. Might catch them another day. Have you noticed it's kind of like Superman, Clark Kent, right? Clark Kent and Superman aren't in the same room together. Isn't that kind of weird that you don't hear from Bone Pile when me is here?
I'm not saying they're the same guy. I've just never seen them standing next to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Rowdy.
Howdy.
What's going on?
Oh, just working on trucks today.
You said I can get on next week because I'm not working. I said, well, I'm going to send him a link.
Yep.
Tell us what's going on in Nevada. Did you see that post on the Nevada Houndsman? Anybody where the guy said, I don't like to air dirty laundry, and he's talking about a houndsman over there that said he's going to want to be houndsman or whatever that is going to set traps to catch dogs.
Yeah.
Or something.
I saw that. It was a text message string from Jake. What's his name? Jake something was the guy that.
Mm-hmm. And the first person I thought of came to my mind, and someone else said the same thing on there. But because I had my run-in with people over there, and they were talking about pushing that bill, which I don't even know where that is. I need to check in there. Where is that, Rowdy? Do you know what's going on with that?
I've been out of the loop. I've just been working. I don't know. I hadn't heard of this text message. Hadn't heard of bills. Nothing.
Yeah, and it was a text. It's personal, and it's just like you just segregating the houndsman in the state. And I think that's what that bill has done. I'm not saying it's a bad bill or a good bill or whatever they're trying. It's not even. I don't think it's a bill unless they're trying to pass a bill. It's the whole
it's a petition or something.
The whole petition.
Oh, is this the petition for houndsman
it-
license?
It
Yeah.
said a
Oh, yeah.
bill, so I don't know. I haven't heard of a bill over there, but I think that's what he's talking about. And
Okay,
There's-
yeah,
I
there was a
couldn't-
petition that Cleve and that group started. What, a year ago, 9 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
yeah, I got in trouble for that. Was
You
told
did?
I got everybody mad about that.
Well, I was told to lose his number and all that crap.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Childish.
yeah. Some people, they
I try to be respectful on it, and I didn't go talk shit about it. I don't believe in it. And if, in my opinion, if I drive a Tundra or a Toyota or a Dodge, and you drive a Ford, like you drive a Ford Ranger, and we shouldn't be friends, but I still let things go, and I lower my standards to have a friend that drives a Ford Ranger. You know what I mean? No, that's what it's
lowered
like.
mine a lot to talk to somebody that has Toyotas.
Hey, I love my Toyota.
I missed
You know-
my Toyota.
But it just, that's how it is. Like it shouldn't be that way. And I get what he's saying, but to cut people out and to burn bridges over it is
Yeah.
stupid. That's childish in my opinion.
Yep.
I don't know.
I
wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
So
I feel like there's probably several different other ways we go about it to mitigate the issues of out of state guys just hammering certain mountain ranges,
yeah.
And unit quotas would take care of that.
Exactly.
One
Unit
tag per
quotas-
non-resident and a unit quota, problem solved.
That's what I was about to say. One tag per non-resident and unit quotas would mitigate
Yeah.
99% of the issues everybody has.
But the issues that people have don't seem like that's the actual issue. It seems like it's this issue
Yeah.
because they have no problem with the non-resident going and killing every lion in that mountain range as long as you pay them to take their dogs to do it. That
Hey,
was the issue
I
that I
could
had
see how someone could take it that way. Absolutely.
because they didn't limit non-residents. They only limited non-residents who didn't have a guide
Yeah.
or non-residents with dogs with no guide. So you're not trying to stop out-of-staters from shooting the lions. You're trying to stop them from shooting the lions, and they don't pay you for it.
Yeah. That's exactly the way a person could take it.
And if that's not how they meant it, then they need to rewrite it to just limit
Well-
non-resident tags entirely. You know what I mean?
Here's where it started off shady is he started it out shady, trying to be secret about it. And he really should have brought it to the public and went to all the houndsmen and said, and even the out of state houndsmen, and said, hey, what do you think we could do? This is what I'm thinking. So when it's easier to ask for forgiveness and permission, it's probably something you shouldn't have done or you knew was going to get some kickback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like you're going to go to your wife and say, hey, can I have a side chick? You're going to go get one, get caught and say, I'm sorry. You didn't show me you loved me.
What?
You knew you
Not
was
me.
wrong. You
Yeah.
knew it was wrong. Oh, I didn't. I'm not bringing up who Derek brought up with him, that one girl from Van Buren. Is she dogging?
She's giving me a death look. He's kidding. I don't even know where Van Buren is.
You
It was
want
dark.
directions?
Yeah.
I can give you directions, and I haven't
I don't
even
need
been there yet.
directions, Benny. I'm good. Y'all gonna get me killed.
So, I mean,
Murdered on camera.
I just
I
think
just say I would never hurt myself. So if I die tomorrow, y'all know what happened.
like Epstein did not kill himself.
Yeah.
So that's just how it worked out over it. And I think they handled it wrong. I think they should have brought it to the public. And I didn't even really bring his the name into it or nothing. We were talking about it, and I got a dirty text saying
Yeah.
saying that it was just childish to me.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
one of those things where it's like your intention doesn't really mean anything. It's all about the way it's presented. So if it's
Yeah.
perceived that you're just trying to line your pockets and keep other people from being able to do something without paying
Yeah,
you,
well, that's what it
then you
seems. So
gotta
come
do it.
on and explain that's not what it is.
if
And,
we're wrong, tell us.
yeah, and I
you
don't
know,
have nothing against the guy or any of those people over there that want to do that. I'm sure they have their reasons. You know, if it was up to me, I'd get rid of all the guides and then Unit 3B would just, I'm the only one that can hunt it. That would be how I like it, you know, but I didn't get to hunt bear a lot this year because it just got wiped out again. And it's going to continue to get wiped out because when you know, well, that there's a lot of that going on, and that's just because of our drought year. I mean, we can't blame nobody for that. Mother Nature. It's just how it worked out, you know. And even Sonny Tapia said, I think it's a lot of bears. It's not necessarily the bears that are here in that unit. Let's take 3B nuisance bears. Let's just say they whacked 20 of them. Well, half of those bears didn't come from 3B. You know, you think Casa Grande had bears? You think Santan Valley has bears in it? That bear don't live in Santan Valley.
That bear walked out of them mountains over there.
That bear lives in Globe. That bear lives in the Pinals, and it was probably so dominant on the feeding that them bigger bears wouldn't let them little bears even in the area.
Yep.
You know?
So they walked their ass in here and went down these fields. Yep.
When we have them in Casa Grande, Santan Valley, deep Tucson. Now, I'm not talking just at the base of Mount Lemmon over there. We're talking in Tucson.
Yep. They ran that joker right down in the middle
Holbrook, St. John's. Like, these are areas that don't typically have bears. And then, you know, even there was a bear in St. John's that had a little tiny cub with it only a month ago, tiny enough to pick it up. Like
this last one they caught here, son, that deputy had it picked up by the scruff and it looked like a big puppy. It was little.
Yeah. And it could be that it's not getting enough to eat and it's just not growing.
Yeah.
But we did get some rains, and I have seen a lot of posts. Even the biologists, I seen old Jansen post that he went up on a pond that hadn't seen filled for a while. He was kind of happy about it. So, and it is nice to have water. Everything's full right now.
Yep.
And it's a little late, but I mean, little water.
Well, it doesn't matter how much feed's on a mountain if there ain't no water there to keep animals.
Yep.
And they're not going to be there.
Yeah. So they're going to move. They're going to move just like horses. Yeah. They're on the golf courses. Torreon Golf Course has a problem with horses. Alpine, you know, they have some springs. Horses will destroy a spring. They'll plug up a spring. I've seen it happen. I know the guy who takes out those horses. Oh yeah, you're in Nevada. I don't. Yeah. And I, you know, call me a heathen, but I'm not about depredation of horses. The reservation, my buddy calls it. Hey, they're doing I sent you a link, Casey Fair, if you wanted to jump on and take Cody's place of talking shit.
Well, I want to ask him some questions anyway. Get him on.
I sent him a link. So the reservation was going to do a depredation horse hunt, like $5 permit. And I don't, PETA shut him down. PETA gave him some trouble. And as a sovereign nation, but the guy who was running it, I think it was McDonald, but the guy who was running it fell for it. So whether he got paid off to say no, or, you know, what a good win. Here's 50 grand or 100 grand to shut it down. And PETA comes and says, we did it. You know, that's just, but these PETA
you're
people.
Talking about the Navajo McDonald that was there forever?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might have shut it down and got paid, but there's no way that it was only 100 grand because he was a big operator.
Yeah. Well, it's like Lupe on the White Mountain Apache tribe. He ran that thing for 40 years. The guy had, I heard, I've never just checked into it because I don't give a crap, but he had houses all over the United States, you know? So to me, that's not a tribal leader. That's just someone making money, you know.
Well, that's what they do.
And those reservations are, I drive through the reservation every time I come down here. And the White Mountain Apache Reservation is one of the most beautiful reservations, piece of chunk of land that is there. They have so much they can do. And why the natives don't do their own guiding. You know, not a lot of the there's not a lot of native guides there. So,
Hmm.
and I don't, and there was some problems.
Calvin's
He's
the
on the
only one.
Navajo. Yeah, he's up on the Navajo.
Yeah.
So, but it is, you know, and it's not easy just to get on there. You have to, it's who you know, just like anywhere else. But I'm not above taking a horse. You know, and I don't know why they have this big problem, but to adopt a horse, you're better off going and adopting a kid. You know, it's like the tortoise adoptions. You have to turn in your W-2s and have
Jeez.
references. Like it's some weird, you know, just to get a tortoise adopted. My brother
The-
has one.
The horse thing, and I've done that several times. It's easy to do, and once you do it once or twice, then they'll let you just come buy them like 6 at a time. But the
Oh.
problem is there's so many more animals than there are guys that can train that animal
Yep.
that it doesn't matter. If every one of us that can do it did it 6 a month, we wouldn't put a dent in how many are roaming around. It is the single
Yep.
only invasive species that we do not manage. And it's terrible for the environment. They're not native here. And I've heard the argument that, oh, they were only gone for 10,000 years. The horses that were here, 10, 15,000 years ago are not the same horses that are here now.
Yeah.
Well,
And there's no place for them on the landscape. They're not sharing. They wipe out. I mean, Rowdy knows. Y'all got it bad up there. They strip it to the dirt. They strip
do.
that crap to the dirt, and they leave nothing for anything else. They'll drink a dang water hole dry, strip the land to the dirt, and move on to the next place.
Mm-hmm.
They just walk around destroying the entire environment, and then the deer are right out here starving to death.
well, the
Not
ecosystem.
only that, they run the deer off the waters. They'll camp out on the water, and if a deer comes near them, they run them. They literally chase them out of the country.
And Juliana's right. The holding pins are bad. So when I went to that National Trappers Association, the Nevada Trapping Association, I think it was the NTA, their little seminar, they had the gal there that advocates for not taking care of the horses, but taking care of the horses. Like they spend millions of dollars in feeding these horses, and it's really ridiculous. And the people who say
for no purpose.
Yeah, they say, well, the ecosystem take care of itself, but that would be true if we only had 100,000 people in the United States.
And if there were no invasive species, because they are not part of the ecosystem. They were a creature apart, just like us. Just like we have rules and our behaviors are managed, they have to be as well.
There's no difference between the iguana in Florida and the wild horses in Nevada.
Or the pig in friggin' Georgia.
Texas is bad. You know, what's funny about Texas is it used to be, hey, come shoot these pigs off my property. As many as you want with what you want. And then they said, oh, wait, we could charge for that.
Yeah.
So now instead of eradicating it off their farms, they'll make up what they damage. And I would love to go do some pig hunting. All I need is a grinder because I'd have 8,000 pounds of chorizo and all different kinds of sausages. Breakfast sausage,
I want
Italian sausage.
Casey needs to be the videographer when him and Diana go down there to South Texas. And I want to see, because if you've been around Diana, you know she's pretty salty. And I just want to see, then we don't have to publicize it all over the internet and all of that crap. But for me personally, Casey, I want the videos of your wife dispatching those pigs.
No, it's not dispatching when you're going after pigs. It's whacking. It's whacking and stacking. There's no doubt about it.
I actually would be willing to loan my marriage spear to Diana to get a little South Texas hog blood on it.
Yep. Let me see what this is. In the 90s, the BLM spent $2,000 a month on Oregon. On what? OR? What is that?
Oregon.
Is it Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could only adopt that were 2 years of younger and had to careful. And then I think you have to keep those horses for 2 years, right?
1
you're
year, you have to
supposed-
keep them for 1 year before you
Yeah.
get the papers to sell them, and that's if you adopt them. Once you adopt one or two, then you can get a permit to purchase, and you can just go up there and buy whichever ones you want. They say they have to be passed over in the adoption 5 times. I promise you, once you get that little ticket, you roll up in there with a trailer, and they'll let you have whatever the hell you want, as long as you take them.
You know,
They just can't afford it. It's just too many.
house
Yeah, I think
cats.
I heard they took 15,000 out of Nevada just last year, and they got another 30,000 they want to take out.
And it still leaves them with 100,000. Like,
Yeah, well, so
how many do they have over there? What's their
85,000? So they got it down to around like 60,000, and they want to keep it under 30,000. I think.
Yeah, I think you can support safely like 23 or 24,000. What they're
Something
saying.
like that. Their
Yeah.
goal is to get it under 30. Last I heard. So,
And they could do that real easy for 1 month's food bill if they would just manage them the same way they do any other invasive species.
where is the cat guy? I know you guys probably seen the video of the guy who does nothing but whack cats. I think it's Australia.
Yeah,
Australia, yeah.
And that
they're
guy
invasive
just
as hell.
They got millions of feral cats.
there's no reason. And in the old days, like last year, I was like, we got to watch what we do on the internet. But you start realizing that no matter what we do, they're going to spin it anyways. So when I'm talking about these feral cats, it's ridiculous. So the loophole kind of in the old days was it was inhumane to let your dogs kill a cat. But it wasn't inhumane. So to get around that, say you and I was trained back 30, 40 years ago, 30 years ago by a guy who would catch cats, dump them in water, let them go in a desert, and let his dogs go. And how you did it was you throw the cat down, he gets out 30, 40 feet, let the dogs go. Next time, like you do that for a couple weeks, and then you let the cat go 30 minutes. Then it's an hour. Then you let the cat go get your dogs, come back, see if you can try to where the point where you're throwing a dry cat down.
Mm-hmm.
Now it wasn't inhumane to let a cat climb a tree and shoot it out of the tree because it was a feral cat. Because if it was dead and the dogs chewed on it, it wasn't inhumane because it was dead. And that's a humane way to dispatch or kill or whack or harvest a kitty cat. But now
it's illegal.
There's an actual, man, I used to remember it. There was an actual, I had a guy that, me, everybody's undercover. And I'm the only undercover that can be here in this group. But he asked me about house cats. And so I would throw that ARS over there and say, hey, man, like, this is kind of how it is. But what is it? I've caught right here by my canal, my dogs have caught, dozens of feral cats, wild cats, whatever you want to call them, caught them out there. So what do I do then? It's a feral cat. So there's that big gray area, fine line. And
according to the law, though, the breed of domesticated cat, whether it's somebody's collared, fluffy, flew out of the house, or if it's lived its whole life in the desert, it's considered a transient free-range animal because they're hard to pin up. You know what I mean? So the killing of any cat of the domesticated cat subspecies is unlawful in Arizona under any circumstance. So if you catch one 30 miles into the wilderness area and you shoot it, you have technically violated whatever ARS code that is. I can't remember either.
I don't remember what it is. So I don't do things illegal no more at all, or ever did.
No, we're choir boys around here. We always right on the line.
But it's a sad deal, though, when
Hey.
you get in. Yes.
I'm no choir boy. I will never sing. I'll go before the federal grand jury and stand my ground. No choir boys here.
So
Well, I don't even go to church. I was just saying we're squared away,
No,
fellas.
I'm talking about a canary choir boy singing, turning, rolling over. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, being a snitch.
stand firm, stand firm.
Benny, they're
And
after you. They know you ain't telling.
my
they,
cat, I had a
They know there's
neighbor.
no point.
I had a
Listen, got
neighbor.
nothing your operation going. Benny still won't roll.
Good. See what Julianne said. Good feral cats are no good. So I had a neighbor that had, God dang, I bet you there was 50 cats over there, all black. And in the middle of the night, my dogs would kill those cats in my yard, and I would take those cats and throw them over the fence. And they call the dog, they'd call the animal control on me. But my dog never left the yard, and there's no leash law on a cat. Now, you have to check that leash law now on a cat. I think there is a little bit of a thing on those now, maybe.
Oh, I wasn't aware of
Yeah.
that. There might be. I'll have to check. I'll check it later tomorrow. To my understanding, we're fence out and they're free range animals. That was my last understanding of it with cats, which is ridiculous and contradictory. And that's how you end up like Australia, where their native species are being annihilated by the feral
Yep.
cats.
They-
And that's why they have feral cats, they have feral dogs, they have feral camels.
I just
and
saw
they
a
have
thing. I
more
think it was
involvement
like
than
300 million birds are killed a year just in the U.S. alone.
Yep.
By cats.
A lot of guys lose hawks to cats because the hawk don't know the difference. Your falconer bird goes grabs a cat turns around. Well, no, cat claws and bites are nasty, and your bird dies.
Yeah.
Bad
oh
deal.
man, you need to get a bigger bird.
The biggest bird a guy can have under a regular license is a red tail, and a
That's
cat
you
will
do.
bite it. They'll turn around and get bit, and then they'll get infections. And when birds get infections, it's a bad deal.
Yeah.
My internet.
Well, I've been bit by feral cats, and I mean, Cody's the closest one to losing his life that I know, but
But you're tougher. Like we're tougher creatures than what a bird is. Like even eagles, like they get infections, and
I
it's a
don't
bad
know.
deal.
I had a
Didn't-
wild mallard after me one time, and I wasn't tough at all.
I had my dad had trapped a cat here because it was killing little chickens, and I put gloves on. I was good to go. I still have this scar on my knee where I grabbed that cat out of the trap, and I was going to put him in another trap and just go let him go, which I heard that you're not even supposed to do that. Go dump them off in the middle of nowhere. That's part of that
Can't
whole.
relocate
Yeah.
them. You got to turn them loose right there.
Yeah. Well, I grabbed that cat out of there, and that son of a gun grabbed my leg and bit my knee. Remember how I didn't do it, but the first thing I thought is, you remember in the old days, I raised rabbits. You didn't shoot them or break their neck. You just grabbed their back legs and whacked them. Yeah. And the man, if I could have got a hold of that cat without him tearing me up some more, that's what I would have done. But I mean, it's just a sad deal, and it kind of coincides with our title as pets versus working dogs. But it's no different. The Chetasky fire, the Rodeo Chetasky fire, a lot of horses were let go, which sometimes that's the best thing to do. Well, they were never rounded back up. Just like here's another thing: wild donkeys. If you want to get into that, those wild donkeys, I think they should take every depredation. I think they should take those lions that are killing those sheep or anything and go dump them where those wild donkeys are over there, where they're Wickenburg or wherever they have them walking down the street.
Cave Creek, just walking right through town, man.
I mean, yeah, it's cool, but you guys ever
the 70s, Chris, in the 70s, that little mountain range right there, it'd be kind of north and west of Peoria. You get out there before you get to Lake Pleasant, there's a little kind of red lava looking rocks that are really different, and they got lichens growing on them and weird. That's where all those donkeys originated, because nobody bothered them right there. And they just blew it. I'm talking about in the 70s. I used to go out there. There was a wild burro killed by a train over there at Whitman. Whitman wasn't a spot in the road back then in the 80s. And well, hell no, that was still in the 70s too. We got back for quarter mile off and I shot it with my 8mm and it didn't take up any space anymore. But anyway, that's where all those donkeys originated, was right there between Peoria and Lake Pleasant in the 70s.
Hey, should we summon Cody again? Bobcat hunter, Bobcat hunter, Bobcat hunter. Someone's asking about tips for Bobcat.
I'll
I think
guarantee you that Cody is in bed asleep.
Oh, I bet. He
Cody
looked
sometimes wants to go to bed. He got out of the truck last week to go to bed, and I don't know why he turns our show on, and then he starts listening and he
Self-preservation.
chimes in. And you can't turn Cody down. The guy, he just has good knowledge, especially when it comes to bobcat hunting.
He's a damn dog man to the core.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And those bobcats, I think it's area specific, right? Because when I'm out in my desert to the west, and I need to go check those, I'll probably do that tomorrow. Go check those for water. Those suckers run. I don't have running dogs. I'm gonna tell you, my dogs run. I've literally just looked and said it's either a coyote or bobcat, and I'll ride as far as I can. And if I see a coyote tractor getting zapped, which my dog's trash. I'm not gonna say they don't. And if there's a bobcat jumps up and old pup decides he wants to go, they're all going. So, but when I find a bobcat track, I ride right back to my truck, load up, and I just go. And I've went miles, 2, 3, 4 miles to the next range, trying to get there just to get closer, and I'll unload, especially if they're treed. I had them treed before, like 5 miles away, and I'm talking quick. And they stayed treed, and it was almost dark, and I had to call them off. And I tell myself it was a bobcat, but a coyote won't tree like that. And I think if I had 8 or 9 dogs out, and I think if they did catch a coyote, they'd probably kill it. Buy a bobcat dog. There you go. Plain and simple.
Yeah,
Of course,
but you got to be in bobcat country too.
Yeah, if you got a lot of bobcats in your country, all you gotta do is import a couple of Leicas they've been hunting lynx on. Get those jokers over there. Just 1 or just 2 of them be plenty. 1 probably do it too. And then you just whack and stack them. Them quiet jokers, they'll be all over. You won't have those 5-mile runs.
Well, that's where Derek's theory comes into play. And if you could get a Leica to jump a bobcat or a Catahoula or a cur or something,
back or a cur dog,
something that don't open up, it's like anything else. A bear that's been chased and treed. I've treed a bear 3 times, and the bear, there's 2 types of bears where I hunt. One that runs to the res, and one that's been treed 3 or 4 times, and you walk away from it. And I think, we talk about a pursuit season. Now, shoot that cat, set a trap, shoot that cat. It's just one, it's SSS. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, look, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying we haven't heard from me, and I was about to bring it up that me is here, whatever his name was. I haven't heard from him, Ron. It's kind of hurting my feelings. So, anyways, Clark Kent's back, guys.
Yeah.
But it is specific, and I know when I hunt right here, the mesquites are really thick, and when those dogs treat 30 yards out there, it takes you an hour to get to it. And I've even thought I'd be smart and take some clippers in there. And I'm telling you, and these aren't mesquites, landscape mesquites where they've bred out and there's no thorns. These are skinny branches everywhere, bushes. Like, right, a mesquite's not really a tree in the desert. It's like a cedar. The cedar's a bush. And if you trim up a cedar, it'll look like a tree. And I think Paula Verdes, all those Chinese elms, those trees will go 40 feet. And if you trim them up, you get a nice big tree. If you don't, you get a nice big bush. So it's tough in this area. And I'm right off the canal, and I know they're there, but it's tough for me to get in there. And there's one road, and I bet you if I go on it, I haven't been on it for a year, and it was already growed over last year. And you know me, I don't care about my truck, but it's these roads where I think you've hunted before. I've noticed, you can tell when, let's take Maricopa. I was a coyote calling fool. Before I got into dogs back in the 90s, we hunted coyotes. I'm talking, if we didn't kill 30 coyotes a month, we would hunt coyotes on the way to work. Me and my dad would hunt coyotes pulling a tool trailer. And the next day, I was young, so I was the guy, we'd chase them across fields with a tool trailer. And you know what I got to do in the morning? I had to clean that.
Tools.
I had to, everything was on the ground, you know. But when they started building these houses out here, and all the fields that these houses, Bashes, Fry's, a little city now in the town of Maricopa, which now is the city of Maricopa. I killed javelina. I killed coyotes, raccoons out in these fields, melons. It's all agriculture. Now it's all houses. And then all these people came out here, and I was finding head nets, coyote calls in my spots. So, and it just pushed them coyotes out. And then now that it's like a trend, right? That coyote calling's a trend. Ducks Unlimited came out. Everybody's a duck hunter. Coyote call is coming out. If they did a series, you know, mountain men, everybody wants to be a mountain man. But once that trend faded, now those coyotes are coming back in, and I'm seeing them walk right down the roads in these next to parks, because they're going in there eating cats and trash. That's their grocery store.
There's so many of them. Since they outlawed the killing contest, I mean, that's thousands and thousands. And the coyotes breed a lot. We in Indiana one time, we killed like 600 in one winter. And the biologist said if we doubled that, we could keep the county population somewhat stable.
Stable, yeah.
Well, then you got these metro units now, like 26M, that you have to be careful in what you're shooting in there. You know, you go in there and kill them.
Shot only. Yeah, bows are shotgun shooting shot. I can't even use an air gun in here on coyotes. Yeah,
so I've always been curious, right? There's like 60% of the U.S. didn't have coyotes in it when Europeans got here because of wolves, right?
Yep.
So how are they not considered an invasive species in that 60% of the U.S.?
Well, they essentially are. I mean, you look at
they are, yeah, but they're still treating them. They're not treating them as an invasive species. They're just saying, oh, they're here. Why not bring back trapping and stuff and get rid of them? I know there's no incentive really for it, but they're trying to treat them as a native species in the majority of the U.S.
In a lot of
never used to be there.
In a lot of states, because they were here, they were always here in the Southwest. You know, they were like a desert, high prairie.
Yeah.
But if you go to like Indiana or Kentucky, Ohio, places where they didn't used to be, the season never ends, and it's any legal means, day, night, sideways, dogs, snares, whatever you want. I mean, it's wide open. As long as you can't use a machine gun or something crazy, but you can't like poison them or shoot them with exploding arrows or crazy shit like that. But any legal means at any time of day or night, it don't quit. On the only caveat I think is on state land, it's different in each state. And I can't remember. I ain't been over there in a long time, but used to be like in Indiana and in Illinois, I think on state land, the season did close at a certain point, like in deer firearm season, because you could use rifles for coyotes, but you couldn't use rifles for deer. Don't ask me. Don't make any sense. But it was something weird like that. But then it went year round again, I think.
So I let me tell you how bad just in I've told my neighbors, if you hear a shot, it's probably a cow. We butchered that cow. My cousin had a cow that went bad. got a broke leg, and he brought it over, and I killed it right in my round pen, and we gutted it right in the round pen. Of course, all my dogs running around. I had 9 dogs loose that weekend, and they're all eating everything, and we're throwing the meat, and we're butchering. And then that night, my dogs were going. I mean, absolutely. And Stinker is a coyote fighting son of a gun. And then, that one Gypsy, that black dog with the one blue eye. She's about the best yard dog I can have because she's a hunting fool, but she won't get in my truck and go hunt. But she's my yard dog. Like, she keeps those out. And then I got 2 pit bulls in there, and there was something going on. I went out there that morning to my round pen, and that gut pile was gone. It wasn't my dogs. A domestic dog won't eat a gut pile like that. They'll chew on it here and there. And I fed them meat all day, so it's not like they were starving. And when I was standing there, my son was there. I said, "Damn, that's what those dogs were chasing." I said, "Look at that gut pile. Look at." And I look up, and there's a coyote walking back. He's on state land, that's by my horses there, Derek. He was walking out, and I couldn't get a gun fast enough. He was already in the tree lines. Oh, we've shot plenty of coyotes, and the whole 440 yards don't go at my place because all my neighbors know and say I can shoot. Well, I can shoot. They all gave me permission, right? So, but that's just how invasive those coyotes are. I've been in my kitchen and seen them walking up my back road back there behind that trailer you stayed in.
I caught 182 in snares on a 15-acre property in 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
In the Midwest. And I caught 182, and then in the spring, when the pups start coming out and Mama's teaching them how to hunt, and I was running coyotes at this time, my catch dog, was a running walker, but she was my catch dog, and she would climb out of her kennel every day when I left for work, and every night. And I could not keep her in. She'd dig out, and it was just a pain in the ass. But a couple of mornings, the horses be going wild, and I'd go out there, and the coyotes go into the corn or the beans, and then in the morning you wake up, and there's a line of coyote pups on the back porch, like on the back patio, like the back slab by the concrete. She lined out coyote pups and the mama all laid there dead. There's 5 or 6 of them.
What I wish I would have done is I wish I'd have put my donkeys in that pen. Because I had goats out back with my horses because it's supposed to keep away, I don't know. Having goats with your horses keeps away something. Someone might know, not scurvy or scabies. Anyways, I had dogs come in and rip the testicles out of one of my goats. Don't matter, he's still bred, but half of it. And then, once I got donkeys there, even my dogs hardly go in the pens because my donkeys will kill a dog. I wish I'd have put those in there and seen if they killed those coyotes.
I bet they might have. They said Jim's got an answer for us. Can't night hunt them on federal land in Kentucky. I knew there was something like that. I could not remember. It's been a while. But on private land, it's free for all, I think.
So Arizona, they do have some night hunts in certain units, 4A or 4B, something over there.
It's a couple.
There's a couple, and you can hunt them all year, and you can use dogs, which is crazy. Nobody in Arizona runs dogs on coyotes unless all the seasons are closed. Then all of a sudden, everybody's a coyote hunting fool.
It's because we got
wanted to do it. But it's like, you're right. And if we go back a little bit and you said trapping and stuff, the reason we can't trap no more is because there's a lot of people and everybody's out there now. Now, I tell the story about Stinker coming home.
Yeah.
Like she runs state land. She came home and had a steel jaw trap on her back 2 toes. And someone had belling wired it, however it was, and she caught it on her back foot, which is weird because usually they catch it on the front. And I don't know if it was one of my neighbors, but anyway, she had that on there for a couple days probably. And my son-in-law come around and seen her under that porch, and she was just laying there. And then as soon as he said, "Stinker, what's the matter?" She did her little, like, she'll walk on her feet. This is no lie right now. I should record it if I could. If I could sneak and watch her, she's running around. And as soon as I see her, she starts limping on that back foot.
Yeah.
I'm all, bitch, I just seen you you were running on it,
I've seen her do that the other day.
And had a still, had a trap on her foot, which I don't care if people are trapping, but it was, if it's on private, you can use still draw traps.
Can you use them like that where they're not
On
offset?
private.
Or that legal?
On private, but I doubt
Uh-huh.
there was no tag on it. I doubt anybody had a trap. I don't think it probably just opened. I think when is trapping season in Arizona? Maybe October. But
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't open then.
no, it wasn't
shouldn't
open
be.
then.
No.
And it was a
'Cause I
rusty old trap. So I don't know
Yeah.
if maybe someone said it because my dogs leave the yard sometimes. I got to get a fence up anyway. But I mean, so it's tough now that there's so many people, and it's tough to actually do the trapping thing. So
Yeah.
I think that's why snares. I'm not a fan of snares. They're effective, but
I love a cable snare, a relaxing lock cable snare in a place where you will not catch nobody's dog. And I did have a guy that was trespassing, and I did catch his whole pack of dogs. And the son of a bitch walked to him and took off the Garmin collars and left them in the snares. And you could just loosen the snare and take it off. You know, they were all alive. When I got home, there was, and the dumb bastard left his running collars on him, and I absolutely turned him right in because it was 24 degrees and a foot of snow on the ground, and you left all your dogs out here all day,
And in Arizona, you got to check your traps every 24 hours. So when I hear like Nevada and all them, it used to be 72 hours, Rowdy, or
It's
something.
I think it's 96 every 4 days.
That's crazy to me. But in Arizona, it's a little. If I left a coyote in a trap for 4 days, it's stinking.
Yep.
So I always wanted that fresh coyote and
Yeah.
or bobcat. That's what we caught out here. And I was 15 years old running around on a 3-wheeler. Would get home from school and I'd go trap. And that just don't happen no more. That's why we're losing the sport of being a sportsman, period. Because nobody's going out anymore. They weren't 14 years old on a 3-wheeler running a 15-mile trap line, getting home at 9:00 at night.
Yeah.
And being 50 years old and having arthritis in these two fingers right here from my knife skinning, and these two fingers from getting down to the head and putting my finger in the eye holes and skinning the rest of it out. My joints, I always wondered, I'm like, damn, why did my joints hurt? When I got older, I skinned a coyote out. And I'm like, that's why.
I had carpal tunnel surgery on both hands from working knives. When I was 25, I had to have surgery. Crazy. But these kids, and that's kind of what I harp on all the time, is the barrier to entry for young guys. Because when we was kids, like my dad's afraid of the dark. So we didn't have dogs for a little bit there when grandpa died, and dad was like, the hell with that, because he's afraid of the dark. I mean, he says he ain't, but he is. And when I was big enough to get around, I took my tail out there by myself and got me a dog and did it alone. But nowadays, they're just, and especially out here, there's not an avenue for a kid to even make those kind of overtures.
Well,
you gotta have to be born into it or rich to get going,
I think, and I have a guy who donates to the AWDA, and he kind of said nobody's doing nothing on this, but when it comes to lion hunting, right, it's legal. It's already legal. So what do you do? And I think what we need to do on all of this, even the trappers, I'm friends with the Trapping Association people, and I don't know a lot of stuff goes on. She's pretty good at it. They go down to that camo in the Capitol, and I'll do that this year. But I have to. It's hard to. We have to educate the people, and lion hunting's legal, dogs are legal. But what we have to do, and I'm gonna go back to the trophy hunt thing. It's the same thing. Is we have to make it respectable again.
Yeah.
Is what we have to do. And that's when I get on to the whole social media thing, because there's videos out there that are bad, and there's videos out there that are good. So when I say don't post stuff, I'm not saying don't post anything. I'm saying educate the people when you post.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You don't have to show it bouncing on the ground, obviously, or
you
really don't have to shoot you really don't have to post the kill shot unless
Yeah.
it's a nice, respectful kill shot.
And I'm always harping on that we need to post more. But I've also been on this show more times than anybody criticizing people for head shooting bears on YouTube and watching them roll down the damn mountain, because I don't think
Yeah.
that's a good look. We don't gotta show that part. Like we all know where we came from, but nobody wants to watch mom and daddy knock boots. You don't gotta
What's
see.
the
You know what I mean?
Isn't it
Yeah.
only like 10% United States hunts, or is it 14 or something small?
I've heard several different. I've heard up to
Well,
15%, but I've heard
well, it's
down
not
to like
80.
8%. No,
It's not 80%. If it was
it's roughly
80%,
10%. 10% that hunts, 10% that's staunchly against it, and then the 80% is, you know,
In the
they
middle.
don't
well,
in the middle.
if
Yeah.
if it was
And
80%, we could post whatever we wanted. And that kind of
Yeah.
segues into what tonight, pets and working dogs, is you see these pets and these guys are individuals are mad at us, right? Because our dogs are too skinny, or they're on a chain, or they're on the back of a truck, which is, they do more damage with these 80-pound dogs that should be 30 pounds, or cats even. I've seen videos where the cats are too fat and the dogs are too fat. So you're doing more damage feeding these
And that-
dogs all this crap that they feed them, and not letting them be a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another big portion of why I'm doing it. You know, it'd be a lot easier. I could go buy some dirt dogs and just do it the way everybody else does it, instead of trying to figure out a new way to do it with these different dogs and all this. You know what I mean? Like my old lady's is saying, I got the green light for 10 dogs in this house. I could just have all hounds. You know, I could not fool with the hair dogs and all this. But you know, aside from that, I'm a weird joker and I like doing things a weird way. And you know, I got an affinity for Northern Europe and Russia and the way they do things, and I think it's cool. But aside from that, you know, if I can get them really, really going, it shows a guy like there might be a kid in Peoria or in Tucson that he can't have half a dozen hound dogs in the yard, but mom might buy him a Leica, and he might drive his little 16-year-old butt out there and cut that joker loose in the Santa Ritas or something and walk through there and catch him a bear, or catch him whatever, a raccoon in the river bottoms down there, or you know, get lucky and bushwhack him a lion. You know, that's a kid that's going to grow up and vote, and maybe one day he's standing in a state house somewhere with one of them name plaques in front of him, and here comes a thing to ban this deal that he did when he was a teenager, and he said, "No, sir,
This is right here."
Yep.
So, and they are pack animals, and you know, Benny's seen it from way back how it's changed, and like I think Benny's even said before, even back in the 70s, they thought, even those interviews that Kennedy was doing, those guys said lion hunting's going away. It's going away, and it will go away if people don't understand it. You know, and it has took, that was 70s, right, Benny?
Yeah.
I mean, 80s. Let's say the 80s and 90s when Kennedy was doing those guys were old already, and those guys were 70, 80 years old, and they grew up in the 50s saying, man, it's changed. It's changed. And it's actually changed for the better, because back in the old days, we couldn't keep track of our dogs. And that's another thing we have to, and everybody says, well, you have to say you can eat it. And you have to say, you kind of do have to say it. I don't agree where it's not really an excuse, but I think the people who don't know need to understand that there is a lot of people that eat. I'm not a trophy. I said trophy hunter. I'm not I don't look for the biggest. You know, I don't kill the smallest, but I don't look for the biggest. So my goal when I'm hunting, and this goes back to the trophy thing, is if I got a free cow and I butchered it. I cut the dead leg off and fed it to my dogs, but you know what I mean? So my goal is always meat. That's why I do the over the counter hunt. And I have a lot of people I can take. That's a great opportunity in my unit, in my backyard, to take somebody, not only educate them on the movement of elk, how they do encroach. And Derek's been there. Derek knows why I hunt the golf course now. And Derek knows that I know that golf course like the back of my hand and how I can hunt that golf course. Because I know where I can shoot. I tell him right here, we can shoot right here. No, not right here. Hey, we can shoot right here. I said, whack it right here. This is where we're going to shoot. I mean, he missed. I'm not going to bring that up though.
Next year, hopefully I'm up there with a very well tested and comfortable Kibler Colonial. That's what
I hope you get that flintlock going, because I've never shot a flintlock and I would really be interested. But I have the opportunity to teach people 6 months out of all year. Like there's units open almost all year. So that's a big opportunity to teach somebody. And I think what they're trying to do is say trophy hunt. Trophy hunt meaning we whack them, we cut the antlers off. This is what their narrative is. We kill them, we cut the antlers off, we leave everything there. And that's why we have to reiterate the whole situation of, no, we don't just leave the meat there. We take
and that's illegal in every state, like for big game. For big game, that is legal in every state. And
you know the biggest difference from when I grew up doing all that stuff and today is the change of society. And I've said this before, moving out of the country and moving into the city, and now everybody's touchy-feely. And you said, what is it, 10, let's just say 15% of the population hunts. Well, that's what everybody did. Even I grew up in Phoenix, and we still went hunting. We went to deer hunting, we went out and camped, and we javelina hunted, and we went dove hunting, we went quail hunting. Everybody hunted, and we did it as family, and we did it as big friends. And the biggest deal today, in my view, is even more than that. People minded their own damn business. And if they didn't mind their own business, they got dogpiled and beat the living fire out of. And then they went off.
We need to bring that
crippled.
back.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they went off crippled. And then they thought, shit, I'm going to keep my mouth shut and mind my own business.
Well,
ass whooping will teach you to mind your own business.
Social media has made it easy to mind everybody's business. But whose fault is that on social media? And that's why I don't post everything I do. I post 10% of what I do. Like Derek's been asked if my dogs are good. That's all I say is I'm lucky. And that's how I like it. I'll keep it that way. I'm lucky less times than I'm unlucky. If I say I'm lucky and I caught 8 bears, that's because I missed 30. I didn't catch 30. I only caught 8 out of the 30.
And it's like I told that boy. He says he gets lucky, but it seems like he can lay his dogs up for 2 months and get lucky every time he wants to.
And that's where I'm lucky. I've not hunted my dogs for 3-4 months. Went out, and one day, me and Cody Lynn, we went out and caught a bear. And that was a long run, but I have my dirty dog. And here's another thing that people don't understand. Everybody says, oh, it's a lot of work for the dog. You know what's a lot of work? Knowing your area. And people don't have the opportunity, let's say I have, to where I'm 20, 30 minutes. Well, shit, what am I, Derek? 5 minutes from elk. I can hunt elk.
There's elk in your yard, Chris.
I have it on camera. They jump the fence, eat my alfalfa.
Yeah.
You are 6 miles from a pretty much guaranteed elk crossing at first light. Like pretty regular. 5.9 miles.
And you have to know, and there's a very small little area.
But if you miss that window by 15 minutes, and if you miss the second cutoff by 200 yards, you'll never see them elk. And there might be 60, 80 of them. But you know the animals, you know their habits, you know their travel corridors, and that's how come you can get on them, because you've studied it for 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, I've been hunting there full time since 2005. When I first went into 3B, I went in with a buddy of mine, Kyle, and he's driving around, and I couldn't tell you how to get home. And now because I usually stay in one unit. And the reason I stay in one unit is because most guys drive the main roads, and most hunters that are guiding or maybe want to shoot something, they drive the main roads as fast as you can, right? You don't want a cold rig. And me, I'll take a cold rig because I'll watch my dogs work. And I know I can most of the time beat my dogs to an area they're going to cross. You know, there was one time this is the first time. This is my my glory story about Dirty. I lost Luke. Luke rigged. Luke's dead. I have Dirty, his son. I bred him 3 weeks before he died to Cece. Cece was one of my original Salazar dogs. That is my line. There was a guy named Tim Salazar, and I always call it the Salazar. Now that Salazar line is still in the line, but now it's my line. But I still claim Salazar, right? It's like a guy who teaches you how to frame. You still say, this guy taught me how to frame. This guy taught me how to run dogs. This guy taught me whatever, how to work on cars. I have the Salazar line, and he told me a lot of stuff. I never hunted with him, but he would tell me a lot of stuff. Let your dogs go in the yard. Let them chase rabbits. 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Who cares? Let them get gamey. And that's how I raised my dogs. And they're Salazar dogs. And 3 weeks before he died, I had bred my dog. And Luke was, I don't know who Luke's out of, but he's from New Mexico. That's all I know. So that's how I got my line started. He started it, he rigged. He started his own track. He's by himself. And I rode Elizabeth Washoe. I know her as Bolin, but I rode Elizabeth's coattails for a long time, to the point where my dogs would rig and her dogs would go down and start it. And I had a rig. And then it got to the point where she says, let your dogs down and let's see what they do. And I was catching bear with her dogs. So I had that mentorship. I think I've learned more off Elizabeth than anybody else. You know, even though she's Californian. I'm just kidding, Elizabeth, if you're listening. But I had that mentorship, and I can blame her for my success. And then he started a track. We went to the tree. Now I knew the area already. I've already known the area. He ran around a road. I went to cut him off, and I was watching him on my GPS. Now this is where GPS are great, because you can learn your dog if you use your GPS right. And I learned, my second mentor was Gorman, because I could watch those dogs work, and I knew how they were going to work. I hardly look at my Garmin, to the point where I'm like, what are these dogs doing? And I realized, oh, well, shit, I could look at my Garmin and see what they're doing. And I cut that bear off. The dog on my rig, I think she was like 5 or 6 months old, did a little bark. And that bear turned. As soon as he heard that bark, treed. Beautiful, jet black, gorgeous sow. Oh, I wanted to kill it. It was November. I told my it was my grandbaby's daddy. And I said, man, the unit's not closed. And his mom's a game warden. He called and said, hey, is there any? So we waited. Now, a week later, I mean, it's getting like the end of November. And now I got Dirty. I know now that Dirty is a bear dog. He's going to catch bears. And that's how it's how I got started. But I knew the area. I knew my dogs. And that's important. We don't talk about the area. So when you're jumping into another area, it's like Jared and Dustin are in a whole different area they've never hunted. And that's a tough thing to do, because they don't know what's down on that other ridge. They don't know if there's a road over there. They don't know that, like Globe, it's a tough area to hunt. When I go to Globe, I know I'm probably just going to lose dogs or be in a tough spot. So you got to know your area, plain and simple. And you got to know your dogs. And that goes all the way back 2 hours ago when we were talking about dogs that run. Now, Richard Dickerson, right? He didn't care if he had wild dogs. Am I correct, Benny? Like he wasn't there to be friends with dogs. He was doing a job. Those were his tools per se in
Yeah,
his
but don't kid
profession.
yourself. Dickerson spent a lot of time with those dogs, and they listened to him.
But they had the same attitude he did, so they matched.
Oh,
So
absolutely. But
he was feral
today,
as his dogs were. Like
he
Casey
still
Fair.
is.
It's like
He
Casey.
still is.
I know. I was
So
gonna call him the other day just to say what's up, and I got busy.
Steve called me this evening, and he was talking about Dickerson and some of the other guys, and some of the other guys that were tough and talk. And he said, don't cross Dickerson. Don't get in the same fire as Dickerson. And they said, really? Oh yeah. He'll even go today. He'll get in a cage and fight somebody for $5,000, and sometimes he wins and sometimes he doesn't. And tomorrow he'll get back in that same cage with that same person. That's Richard Dickerson, and that's how he grew up.
It was only a few months ago. He got in a fight with a guy that whipped his horse.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know?
he didn't get in a fight with that guy. He crippled that guy.
Yeah. And I think these days it's just like hunting, fighting, violent. It's a big no-no. You know, I mean, the words we used to call people, our friends, it's just it puts you on a hate crime. They make
Yeah.
everything a hate crime. So it's tough to be. It's tough. It's tough to.
Well, Chris froze up.
So
darn
that's
it.
when I say,
There he is.
who is it?
You.
You
Right.
froze up. But guys, I'm going to check out. My first wife wants to go to bed, and I'm going to take that as an invitation.
Yes, sir.
Sounds
Mr.
good.
Here you go.
See y'all.
Night, Benny.
Yeah. So that's what makes it tough these days to do what we do and to expose what we do in the raw form.
Yeah.
So we do have to clean it up a little, sadly.
Yes.
So I mean, and we do have to take the narrative that they're spinning. So if they're saying trophy's a bad word, we have to say this is our trophy. And I've been
Yep.
trying to post a little more. I've been kind of. When I'm home with my family, it's hard for me to do anything. Kids and house, and when I'm down here, I have all week that I'm by myself, so it's easier for me to start doing this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs to take a little time and start. Chris Powell's right. Whether you love him or hate him, he said there's no we need to take trophy back, we need to take hunting back, and we need to spread we need to take their narrative. And the only thing I didn't agree with, he said you can't use meat as excuse, but that is part of the equation. For me, it is.
But only for very few of us. I mean, think about the rendezvous. If you count guys that were like, man, I hope we get some fresh bear meat today, and guys that would gag and when we pull it out to eat, there was less of us that was going to eat it than wasn't.
That's my fault when I'm pulling out 20-year-old meat.
But even
Yeah.
so, like Casey, he won't eat none of that. Vehemently, not going to do it.
Just like elk meat. He don't like elk meat either. He says when you're in elk camp and it's all you're doing is eating elk meat, and I get it. But there's 100,000s of people out there that you can feed a tamale or a taco. Or let's take that when they were serving lion meat at Lionheart. That was a beautiful plan, in my opinion.
I work with a lot of like yuppie, uppity, upper crust kind of people.
You work with what do they call them? Fur moms, fur dads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
We'll just wait on her. Tell her we just stopped the whole show for her. But we have to educate. And
Sorry, my kid coming here with his face cut. Cat got him.
keep your face out of the cat's way.
Yeah, he fell on it. And it turned around and got him by the forehead. But
Geez.
yeah, I work with a lot of like, these are my fur babies. This is my child dog. You know what I mean? But every one of them, they see my truck, they ask questions. A lot of times it's, we have bears here. We have lions in Arizona. Yes. You know, do you eat them? Well, yeah. Oh my goodness. I bet that's so good. I'd love to try that. Everybody is so interested in the natural world and getting your food from the wild. There's this huge rewilding movement going through groups of people that we don't even associate with. It's not gonna. It
Yeah,
would
the
not
whole
be harmful.
rewilding thing is getting crazy.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, Mark Zuckerberg's been pig hunting for 10 years, and
Well, that's the people.
he's the most opposite of us as anybody can get. You know, and all those people in the middle, they just don't have the opportunity. And that's my whole thing. Is like we gotta, like,
Give
I want
them
to
the
show.
opportunity.
Yeah, I want to show them that you can do this with one dog, 2 dogs. You can go out and catch a bear or a lion, and you can live in town. Like I live in y'all know where I live. I live in a damn subdivision, right in the middle of everybody. And
What are
I
you
got
talking
dogs
about? You got bears over there. What are you talking about?
But you know, I want to show that, and we got to stop this old. It's so, and it was baffling to me when I come out here because this stuff went away back east a long time ago, like before I was born. Because public is public. We can't do this whole grumbling and mad and what are you doing hunting my mountain and you're in the middle of the national forest. It's not your national forest, Bubba. I don't care how long you've been here. It's public land, and all of our money pays for it. I got just as much right and access to it as anybody else, and so does the kid that lives 5 houses down who plays on the soccer team and lives with a single mother, and mommy got him a furry pointy-eared Russian puppy, and he wants to go out and chase squirrels around. He's got just as much right to be there as somebody whose granddaddy's granddaddy settled a farm there 100 years ago and fought the Apaches or whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't own it, and we got to get out of that whole mindset.
Well,
Get
there's
off
always that
bullshit like that.
There's always that etiquette and respect though as well. So you have to have that respect as well. Like if I know somebody's hunting in the area, I'll kind of hang around and go out skirts of it. But if I turn dogs loose and I hear other dogs, I'll go to the tree and pull my dogs. I'm just not stingy like that. I love meeting guys at a tree.
But these guys that are like, this is my unit or this is my canyon system or whatever, are guys that block roads with rocks and stuff, and then they roll the rocks out of the way, pull their truck out and roll the rocks back.
There's always people out there that will do that.
But that's what
that will never stop.
It will stop. It don't happen back east. It don't happen back east.
I would guarantee you could get people from back east to tell some stories about fights you can't tell me there's no fights or people saying this is my holler, stay out of it.
Very rarely, because the main roads, everybody's on them. I mean, like you hear about, I fought this guy at the tree back in 81, but I've never seen that. I've never seen that. I've never
seen it here. I've never personally seen it. I've heard of it, but I've never personally experienced it. But my etiquette is different than maybe somebody who's a bully. So when you got a bully that does that, it's going to happen. Even me, I'm like, hey, all right, whatever. But if you keep trying to bully me, we're going to get in a fight at the tree. I don't care if I'm back east or if I'm back west. You got to remember, you're right about the West. The West has always been behind. Even when they started moving here in the 17 and 1800, everybody was where they start. All these books, it's all been in the East, so we're still catching up, but I haven't seen it. I've heard of the fights, and I'll disagree with you on the back East. It happens, but
it's so rare. Like nobody's blocking the forest roads, and that happens here all the time, but nobody's doing that in Ohio or Kentucky. Like you don't drive through the Daniel Boone and old Jerry from up the hollers blocked the road and behind his truck when he went in there. Like that, you can't do that stuff. Like we got to drum out those bad actors when we encounter them, because like the entitlement of some of these older fellas. And I don't know personally, I just hear that you got to I don't know, guys that get grumpy if you're hunting in the unit they've been hunting in for 20, 30 years. Like, I get grumpy if someone's in my area if I have planned to go there, and all of a sudden there's 18 trucks over there. Like, God dang, man. But it goes back to etiquette
and it goes back to your manners and
Mhm.
working with people. I've been at
Yeah.
plenty of trees here with no fights. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I don't go to the tree saying this is my dog. I wasn't there. Whoever gets
Yeah.
there first can claim whatever they want.
Yeah.
But
And
I don't have Garmin on his dogs. I have Garmin on my dogs, and my dogs were there 15 minutes ago. Now when I get to that tree, and all of a sudden there's dogs coming in, and they get there and said we were treed first, and I'm saying, nah, you weren't.
Mhm.
And if I want to shoot that bear and I'm there first, I'm going to shoot that bear, and that's I think where the fight starts, and it has to happen back east, I'm sure, here and there, but
But
I
it's
don't.
not a common thing,
Mhm.
and it's just like you hear about, I don't know, you hear about like so some kid gets him a dog and he goes hunting off of Penrod Road or whatever, you know what I mean? He don't have
Mhm.
to come find Chris Watson's house and knock on the door and introduce himself and
Ask permission to hunt 3B.
yeah, you know what I mean.
And everybody knows I'm in 3B. Like even Sonny's caught me in one and says this ain't 3B, and I said it is today.
Yeah.
But it's not a fist fight.
And Crazy's talking about Alex.
Yeah,
Talking about
that's who I thought he was.
Yeah, he talked about where he walked up a holler and these guys accused him of cutting their deal off, but they didn't have a fight and nobody blocked the road, nobody slit nobody's tires, and you know what I mean. You don't have to when you go hunting in friggin' Fayette County or something. You don't got to go around everybody's house and make sure it's okay with them if you hunt the public land, because there's going to be 45 trucks on that mountain opening morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's nobody's damn mountain. Now everybody would get. I mean, even I would probably get grumpy if we were pushing one and somebody, you
get irritated.
into them. Yeah,
It's
I'd be
irritating.
aggravated about it. If somebody fed strange dogs into my dogs, I don't know your dogs.
So
My shit gets bit, we might have to have a conversation, but you know what I mean?
let
But
me
we
tell you how.
gotta be open to the newcomers. You know what I mean? Because I already did this my whole life. So when I got pushback, I was like, what the hell with these guys then? I'll just figure it out. But some 18, 17-year-old kid from friggin' Gilbert, he doesn't have that background, so when he walks, pulls up next to you, on the mountain, like, help the kid out, because that kid's going to grow up and do the voting that's going to make it whether or not our kids can have a truck full of dogs.
Let's take undercover.
Yeah.
I yelled at him, let your damn dogs go. We had a bare tree. Dirty had that. And I said, let your dogs out. Don't ask me. Let them out. As long as your dogs ain't stupid fighters.
Yeah.
And even then, when you're putting new dogs in with other dogs that you don't run with, you may have some problems, but you got to handle those problems. But I'm all about it. And I know what you're saying. There's guys out there that aren't all about it.
Yeah, I don't mean you. You're very
I'm all about it, and I think there's a lot of guys that are all about it. There's been times Sonny is like, "Where you at? Where you at? I got a bear. I can't tree." You know what I mean? Because he needed more pressure. I've been on bears that will not tree to the point where my dogs are wore out, and me and Cody Lynn cut them off on a road, seen them cross, and my dogs were behind them a little bit, and we treed that bear. We got out of the truck, ran, barking and yelling. Like, if someone ever had a video of us out there doing that, and I wasn't recording at the time, but if someone had that video, that's what we do. And we didn't kill the bear. We didn't kill it. We treat it. And then we let it out. We let it go, So but there's my trophy, right? What's the trophy? These dogs worked 7 miles. And I'm not talking 7-mile straight run. These dogs work 7 miles in a 3-mile area. Yes, figure 8. Those bears love to circle. They go up the mountain. They circle the mountain. That's how I know it's a bear, right? Yeah. That's where my knowledge. So I don't. It's not necessarily lucky. I'm lucky that I live up where I live, and I can go drive 30 minutes and be in bear country, or I can drive 6 miles and shoot an elk. So that's where I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And hunting, in my opinion, whether anybody believes it or not, is all luck. When you're sitting on that mountain ridge, even for a spot and stalker, and you're glassing and you're glassing and you're glassing, that elk or that deer is probably there. And you've been on that for 2 hours. My brother's not patient. We were in Globe and I was glassy and he took a nap, hour and a half. He woke up and says, "What are we doing?" And I swear, as soon as he said that, I said, "There's that deer right there." And he called bullshit. He said, "Bullshit." I said, "Right there." And that deer was laid up in some paddle cactuses. And I just happened, the sun had set just enough or moved where I seen that flicker his ear.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there for 2 hours. And I got lucky and didn't just move on. And I seen that deer. And it was a doe, but I still seen that deer. It's all luck. It's all
Yep.
luck. Now, if you're lucky enough to find the track and you have, the tools to do it, you have to be lucky enough to find that track. And we've all drove roads, whether you're rigging or whether, and I'm going to tell you, to me, it's easier to go down to Southern Arizona where the Border Patrol keeps those roads graded and find a track than it is to rig around. Because this is no lie. I'm a piggybacker and I would watch guys. This is 100% truth. I would watch guys rig a certain mountain over where I hunt and they would leave and I would free cast and I would catch a bear. And there was roads all the way around that mountain. The thermals didn't work in their favor. The bear didn't cross the road. It was bedded up probably. And I jumped the bear plenty of times. I can take you. I had 3 bears I've treed on this mountain in one tree. I treed a bear in that same tree 3 times. And I killed 2 of them out of that tree. It's just crazy.
That's what me and Undercover did. I mean, we was up there at a holiday weekend, and I'm telling you, if there was 2 campers, there was 1,500. I mean, there was people everywhere, and dog trucks everywhere, and everybody rigging everything. And we ain't neither one. I ain't got a rig dog a lick, and he's got that one plot bitch that's like kind of sort of, And I was like, let's just walk into that wilderness. Let's walk right in there. Because if I was a bear and all this craziness going on, 5,000 people on 4-wheelers, I'd be the one place they can't go.
Hiding in the thick stuff.
Yep. We walked into all that blowdown and bullshit. We walked in there 400 yards and dogs hammered. The race is on. We jumped it right up out of there. And of course, they left it, which sucks. But, it was good. And that's my trophy, though. That's my trophy. My trophy was that bear was a running loop-de-loops on that mountaintop, and that gray dog got there and up he went. And that's my trophy right there. We didn't kill a thing. But because the idea using this got us on a bear, and then the dogs did their bit mostly. And that's the trophy. You ain't got a grip and grin.
Casey Fair. Let me get it over here.
Oh, holy crapola.
That's a pretty sight. That's just a pretty sight. Pretty neat.
Those Coos deer?
Yeah, I imagine he's down south.
That's a
They
big
sure look big, but
that's a big
that right there, a campfire, you get any kid that's never hunted and you get him down there and you teach him how to, and you cook that meat that you butchered, that he butchered. That's the ticket.
Yep.
And the ballot initiative is a cheater way to take it away from us.
Yep.
But we have to, that's where our offense needs to be, is to switch the narrative from trophy hunting as being bad to trophy hunting being everything. Not just a big rack, not just a dead carcass.
That first bite of tenderloin that 16-year-old boy takes after he hiked his little butt off and thought he was going to die going up that mountain, and he made that shot, and he takes that first bite of that, he'll never forget what that tastes like the rest of his life. That's the trophy of the trophy right there.
Well, and him actually not harvesting, him processing his own meat. And I think
He went from
that's
watching
what.
it run to watching it cook, and did it every step of the way with his own hands.
Mhm.
That's a sense of accomplishment you can't teach in school.
Yep.
That's what we need. That's what we need, and we do need to integrate this into the school systems and maybe start a program that educates. So whether, like I said, I could hunt elk all year. So if I could get an elk, get one kid in that school to get an elk and process it, and he goes, and my kids all the time tell their friends they got a bear, they got a bear. You know, it's just like undercover texts me last year, and this is the lucky part. Says bear, and I'm like, how do you know it's a bear? I got the text later. Me and my son jump in the truck, go to find him. I knew where he was. We catch him halfway there, and I said, how you know it's a bear? He says, I seen it standing there. I said, well, hell, let's go back. This is an hour later. We go back. I said, where was it? I let Dirty out first, and he goes over there and he sniffs around. And I'm like, you sure it was right here? Yeah. Yucky, he was kind of running around. I let another dog out. I think it was Vodka. Well, Yucky kind of does these circles. You know, he would go, and he picks up and takes off. I'm like, man, maybe he got something. This is an hour later. He's seen this bear by a road that was maybe not even 100 yards from him. And we caught that bear 200 yards away from where he seen it an hour before. So yeah, I got lucky. Why did that bear stick around when he let his dogs go? You know what I mean? Did his dogs, maybe that bear went up a tree and his dogs didn't, he hadn't been on a lot of bears. So did he, where is he? I haven't seen him for a while. I got to call him.
I ain't talked to him in a couple of weeks, yeah.
Well, he's going to Louisiana. But
Yeah,
I'm
first of
gonna
the year.
hop off here and go eat some dinner.
Yeah, we've been on 2 hours
Okay.
talking about everything but what we usually talk about. Half the time, I think I'm just going to start putting hounds in a bunch of crap, you know, because we do talk about some good stuff. I try to pick a topic and we get off on a rampage. So I'm just going to start putting rabbit hole time. But thanks for jumping on there, Mr. Rowdy. I like to hear what's going on in Nevada, and I'd
Thanks
like
for having me.
if you could kind of maybe find out what's going on with the whole out-of-state hunter thing. That would be cool.
I'll look into it.
So sounds good. I think we're going to jump off too. But remember, everybody, Rowdy, you need to save some money and put in on this raffle. We have a raffle going on. We only have about 12 spots filled, and it's only 40 spots we're going to take, and it's for these. You get a choice of it's $50 entry, 40 spots. You can pick an Alpha XL, an Alpha 300, or an Alpha 300 or 3 TT25s or $1,100 cash.
Tell Robert he can't put in.
And Robert can't put in.
And then I'll put in. That guy's got the luck.
Maybe I'll send him $300 or send him a couple $100 to put in under his name for me. So if
that's
you guys
what we need to do.
Yep, go to azwda.com if anybody wants to get in on that raffle. And if anybody has a good topic or wants to jump on the show, let us know, because we don't talk about anything but everything. So it sounds good, guys. 2 hours.
All right. Night, everybody.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
We will see you guys next week. And remember, our sponsors, Value Pack Dog Food's been good. As soon as Dustin quits playing around and catching a lot of bears for Brandon, he'll be back, and we'll get him on. And Jared will probably get on. He's going back home, I think, this weekend. So I might run down there and poke around the south area when it's cooled off. Sounds good. Thanks for coming on, guys.
See you,
We'll
fellas.
next week. And we will see everybody else next week. And if you want to watch these, you can go check out Apple Podcasts, look up Freecast, and it'll pop up, Spotify, and a bunch of other ones. I don't even know what we're on. So let us know if you have any thoughts or questions or suggestions, anecdote of a houndsman at outlook.com. Till then, you guys keep your powder dry and stay safe out there.
Well, bye.